Last Monday, an estimated 500 border jumpers walked into Quebec, Canada through one illegal border crossing alone. During the next 24-hour period between Tuesday and Wednesday, 300 illegals walked that very same path. Now, Quebec officials say that the province is averaging 200 illegals per day. So it's been roughly 7 months since Prime Minister Justin Trudeau welcomed the world to claim refugee status right here in Canada. And with time, well, word has spread, and more people than ever are heeding his call. Today, Canada's southern border with the United States has been turned into a constant, revolving back door. Here at the Rebel Media, we have traveled across the country documenting this manufactured crisis over the last several months, from Manitoba, where we shared stories of young mothers who faced migrant men forcing their way into their homes at their doors at all hours of the night, and Quebec as well, where we spoke to illegals who told us that they were not fleeing President Donald Trump, as the mainstream media would have you believe, rather that they were dodging the draft in Eritrea or seeking socialized health care after flying in from Saudi Arabia. There, we also showed you the face of confessed human trafficking rings behind this fake refugee railway into Canada. Well, this week, I went back to the illegal border crossing at Roxham Road, just one section of Canada's very long undefended border with the United States, which separates upstate New York from southern Quebec. And, well, I have an update. The changes that have taken place in the past 4 months since I was there last are alarming, if not wholly unbelievable. In the meters leading up to the illegal border crossing, what was once plain pavement has been transformed into a dumping ground. Everywhere, boarding passes from refugees, the sorts of refugees that can afford plane rides, I guess, coming in from places like West Palm Beach, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and Salt Lake City. Dirty diapers just disposed on the side of the street, pieces of broken luggage with airline tags affixed to them, and, well, several condoms, both unopened and seemingly used. Then the border itself, an intersection that was, just 4 months ago, marked by a few police cruisers on the Canadian side and a ditch through which illegals would cross into RCMP-turned-bellhop hands. Well, today it's laden with enormous refugee gazebo tents. Inside them, at least triple the police presence. A waiting area has been created to handle the long and constant queue of illegals before they are initially processed in the tents further back by even more RCMP officers. Also among the changes, in addition to many more federal police cruisers, there are now 2 more trucks. One, a shuttle bus, which is being run on a 24-hour load-and-go schedule, and a cube van for all the luggage these self-styled refugees have in tow when they cross. As for that small ditch, well, the illegals don't have to worry about getting their sneakers dirty anymore, because Quebec taxpayers have subsidized a new land bridge, a welcome mat of sorts to assist border jumpers in committing their crime. And an obvious but very necessary word on that before I carry on. Every single individual crossing that bridge is indeed a criminal. It's a matter of law. No one leaving the United States of America is a refugee. There is no persecution to flee in the U.S. It is the safest, freest country in the world. And both the U.S. and Canada, well, they acknowledge that fact in our signed Safe Third Country Agreement, which states that if someone is already in one of those countries, well, they can't just pretend to be a refugee fleeing to the other. And yet, more people than ever are doing just that, a lot more. So when the Rebel was at Roxham Road back in April, we spoke to bus drivers, cab drivers, a human trafficker, and saw for ourselves that roughly 15 to 20 people per day were illegally walking into Canada. But today, that is the hourly rate. Roughly 15 people are illegally walking into Canada every hour throughout the day and the night. And that's just along this one road, never mind all the other known gateways across our country. We honestly hardly had a chance to return to our stakeout position in the car because there was just such an abundance of illegal border crossing activity, a steady stream of taxis shuttling individual men, groups of men, and some families. And during our time along the border this week, well, we clocked an average of 17 men for every 25 illegals that entered, placing the women and children ratio at about 30% of the total, with men occupying the lion's share of claims at about 70%. In the mornings, we'd arrive on the U.S. side to lineups which had already formed in the earlier hours, stretching along both sides of the border, and at no point was there a period in which 0 illegals were present on either side. Translation: the flow of illegal entry into Canada is quite literally constant. So, just who are these refugees, and are they coming from different countries in comparison to what we saw just 4 months ago? Yes, they are. It would appear that the Prime Minister's invitation is making the rounds worldwide. Whereas in April, the majority of the men that we spoke to were from Eritrea, Sudan, and Saudi Arabia, a point confirmed by locals and cab drivers. Well, this time, the majority of the border jumpers that were willing to talk to us, at least, said that they hailed from Haiti. Where are you from?
Haiti.
You're from Haiti?
Yes.
Where are you from? Haiti?
Haiti.
You're from Haiti?
Yes.
Oh, where are you all from?
I'm from Haiti.
Where are you from?
Haiti.
Haiti?
Yeah.
The majority of the Haitians that we spoke to, by the way, spoke Creole, not one of our official languages, i.e. French. We also encountered men from as far as Myanmar, and finally, just one man who claimed he and his son were from Syria, but just insisted on speaking to me in Spanish.
I'm from Syria.
From Syria?
Yeah.
With your son, whereabouts in Syria are you from?
Excuse me, I don't speak English very well.
Which city? Where are you? Raqqa? Where?
Can you speak Spanish?
Un poquito.
Ay, pues
¿De
no,
dónde eres? No, Syria.
No, soy de Siria. Soy de Siria, pero ya viví mucho tiempo en Venezuela y allá tiene muchos problemas. Llegan alguna gente para secuestrar a mi hijo. Entonces copé por aquí a Estados Unidos y quiero pasar a Canadá.
Individual stories varied between people who said that they were only passing through America to get to Canada's open border, and others who said that they had been living in America for some time, just illegally.
Yeah.
Well, why are you leaving?
So there's something wrong. Something wrong.
Don't forget your snacks.
Something specific?
Yeah.
What's making you leave America?
Oh, I don't have paperwork. I don't have nothing. So you got deportation. So that's it.
Now, a constant trend that we noticed was just how well-dressed many of these so-called refugees were. Men who looked more like rap stars than refugees, decked out with fancy headphones and chain necklaces, leather jackets, brand new tracksuits, and really clean shoes. One after another, we witnessed adult men exit taxis with flat-brimmed hats, fine luggage, and brand new cell phones, just before walking across the border and declaring themselves refugees. As for procedure, well, little has changed. While the migrants are in the process of committing their crime, an RCMP officer just stands there and tells them that their actions are in fact illegal, but places absolutely no physical barriers to entry. After the illegal entrance is made, the RCMP officer politely asks if they're armed, carrying any drugs or alcohol, and performs a very brief pat-down. No suitcases are examined whatsoever. In some instances, we witnessed RCMP officers clearly perplexed by the sorts of expensive goods these refugees are bringing into Canada with them.
What's up? Okay.
Did you catch that? A man in a sport jacket and leather shoes with a wad of cash in his pocket, not one, but 2 cell phones, and a mobile internet hotspot device, is illegally walking out of America into Canada while claiming to be a refugee. And refugee possessions weren't the only thing to raise eyebrows on the ground. In some instances, we witnessed serious tensions between husbands and wives traveling together. In one case, a mother carrying her young child and luggage slipped and fell while crossing illegally. But rather than ensuring that she and the baby were all right, a man, one would presume was the father, proceeded to hit her on the head. So now that these people are here, what is Canada doing with them? Well, they're being shipped to Canada's sanctuary city, Montreal, or Olympic Stadium to be precise. Officials would not let the rebel.media enter the premises, stating that all media are banned, Canadian or otherwise. Beyond a certain line, only the migrants can enter. But even from a bird's eye view, it's really clear Canada is getting a little taste of Calais. But the locals we encountered don't seem to mind. On more than one occasion at the border, a refugees welcome group showed up with supportive signs and a megaphone articulating the now all too familiar slogan, "No one is illegal." And then this man, living mere steps away from the RCMP's refugee gazebos. Canada's border crisis is literally happening in his backyard, but he says he's not in the least bit bothered. Do you ever fear for your family's safety as to who might be coming up through your backyard?
Oh, not at all. Not at all. I mean, these people are not criminals, you know. They're refugees, you know. They've had terrible, terrible hardship. I assume, you know, it's a tragedy. You know, imagine leaving everything behind. Leaving everything behind, you know, to come to a place that you don't really know what's going to happen. Ooh, I'm not sure I would do it.
The Canadian Border Services Agency union boss said that many of the people that he's processing do indeed have criminal records, including serious criminal records, things like trafficking and murder. Does that change your opinion whatsoever?
No, I'm not afraid. Why would I be afraid of, you know?
And he's not alone. Canada's Prime Minister isn't bothered either, despite calls from various levels of government and police services for more resources from across the country. Justin Trudeau says that Canada has the capacity to properly process all of these illegals currently rushing Canada's southern border and more. You know, it's going to be another 4 months before the snow sets in southern Quebec, so considering just how severely the crisis has escalated in the last 4 months, you really have to wonder, how many more fake refugees is Canada expected to care for before Justin Trudeau considers closing our back door? For the Rebel.media, I'm Faith Goldie. The Rebel.media was the very first organization to actually care about this story, and we continue in our coverage. If you want to help support our journalism, please visit guardtheborder.com.